So in case you haven't heard of the Pit Diaper, it's a real thing. It was sold by Liquid Death for $75 and it sold out in 24 hours.
This $75 leather mosh pit diaper lets you pee yourself at concerts.
For this all to make sense, you need to know more about Mike Cessario, the founder of Liquid Death. So in 2009, he was at the Vans Warped Tour and he noticed that people were pouring water into Monster energy drink cans because no one wanted to be seen drinking water. He noticed an opportunity there, but Mike had already had years of working for Netflix and doing disruptive advertising campaigns in marketing, and that's really what you need for something like this to work. Mike knew that traditional water was focused around purity, health, cleanliness.
Aquafina is so pure, there's nothing in there. No fizz, no fruit.
So that's pretty boring. He started putting the water into tall boys, gave it a very aggressive logo with a skull, did a whole bunch of unhinged endorsements from celebrities, and the tagline was "Murder Your Thirst." He made it very intentionally opposite of what water is typically marketed as. What he did was observed behaviors that were already happening and then attached a brand to it, which is why Liquid Death was so immediately successful. So there's a big difference between disrupting a space that already exists and just doing something poorly and calling it disruptive, which is what most people do. Now, the reason this exact strategy sold the Pit Diaper is because people have come to expect absolute nonsense and unhinged rebellion from Liquid Death. And believe it or not, the Pit Diaper also came out of Mike observing something that was already happening. Some people were already wearing diapers just so they could stay in the pit, so he attached the Liquid Death unhinged concept to that. The diaper was black leather, it had metal hardware. So here's why you shouldn't try this, or maybe you should, it's up to you. This worked for Liquid Death because they have a history of disruption and the founder is an expert marketer. It was calculated, it was precise. But here's the thing, when you try to be disruptive without knowing what you're trying to disrupt, you look corny because a lot of people conflate disruptive with just terrible and bad. Disruption does not mean doing the opposite of everyone else. It means knowing what the rules are and breaking them with intention and purpose. And this is a weirdly common thing I run into is somebody will have an underdeveloped website or their branding will look terrible and they'll say that they did that intentionally to stand out. That doesn't make you stand out. It doesn't disrupt. It makes you look like you don't know what you're doing. The second big risk here is confusing people. When you go balls to the walls chaotic and you're trying to be disruptive without knowing what rules you're breaking, you create chaos. And that chaos is overwhelming and it's unclear. And so people pass on whatever you're selling because they don't see it. So we're going to cover what they did and how you can kind of work this into your own branding. Number one, they turn what people already do into a product. Some people wear diapers at concerts. So Liquid Death took that behavior and branded it and they made it something their audience would pay for. And that is an incredibly smart move because the demand is already there. You're just attaching a price tag to it. The second thing they did was attention quickly. Pit Diaper says everything. It's 2 words. It's very clear. People got it right away. And that's something a ton of owners miss is you confuse people by trying to be clever and cute. If people don't get you and your product and your brand and everything within a couple of seconds, they'll never buy from you. Number 3, they use price to control perception. The $75 diaper is not cheap, but it's also not out of reach considering it had gold hardware and it was leather. It made it feel exclusive and like it was worth owning. Price isn't just about profit. It can control your brand story. Low prices remove hesitation. High prices add value and status. Here's the bottom line of all this. You don't need a $75 leather diaper to make sales, but what you can do is turn real behavior into products. Look for market gaps. Make everything clear. Stop trying so hard to be clever. You can control perception with your pricing. Because the thing here is that Liquid Death didn't just sell a diaper. They sold trust, timing, attention. Most brands that try disruption fail because they don't know what they're disrupting or who they're even talking to. Start with what you do know about your audience, get good at the basics, then you can start jumping into more bold type of things.